Welcome to Trading in the Trenches. I'm your host, Steve Mercy, and today I'm going to be going over Fibonacci clusters. Okay, what we have in front of us, what I have in front of me right now, is the IBIT chart, IBIT Bitcoin ETF, and today is Monday, June 23rd, 2025. Okay, so the reason I found this chart is because I saw the symmetry in it with my eyes just by looking at the chart. So this shape here that looks like an N, and it goes like that. That's what we call a two-step pattern, or a possible two-step pattern. Let me turn this off real quick. Whatever. Let's turn these stats off. What the heck? Why is it showing the stats? All right, guys, here we go. All right, so this little N pattern here is what we call the two-step pattern, all right? In order for it to be a two-step pattern, there has to be some requirements that are met, okay? So let me zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, let's get started. So first thing first, I want to use my Fibonacci extension. Trend-based Fibonacci extension is what they call it on TradingView, okay? So this is going to measure symmetry. That's what this tool does. And so I saw that the pattern was emerging, but this strategy is used to see if you can find a place where you can take a trade against, a level where you can trade against, okay? And so the way this works is you're going to measure a previous pullback in the trend, okay? So from this high over here, when IBIT hit 63.70, we're going to measure from that high to the decline, the swing low, right? Came in at 57.70, and then we're going to move the point back to the next swing high, which is 62.79. And this is to see if we can find a place to take a trade, okay? And just by placing that one level, we have this level here, 100% symmetry retracement, coming in at 56.79. This level alone is powerful enough to take a position off of, okay? However, in trading, when you stack confirmations, there's a higher probability that the setup is going to work. And so, i.e., hence the fib clusters, right? Okay, so I got my symmetry going. Let's see if there's any other zones that line up. Yeah, look at that. Right on top of it. Symmetry is coming in lovely there. Alright, so you see this one's too big, right? So we don't need that. It really is just about measuring prior swings, okay? So from this high to the low, and then right back to the high. And look, we have three of them coming in here within a 22 cent range, basically. All right. So IBIT has very symmetrical pullbacks. All right, let's try this one here. Wow. All right, so a lot of these major pullbacks are very symmetrical. All right, so we have our fib extension tool, trend-based Fibonacci extension tool, and now we're going to go to the fib retracement and see if we can't find some levels to overlap what we already found. All right, so the first one I'm going to do is going to be from the previous high over here down to the lowest low, okay? And as you see, I already have this level marked on my fib retracement, okay? And now we're gonna do some, so we use that to find any support that the chart may fall to, and upside targets as well. But now we're also going to use the retracement tool to find levels going the opposite way. All right, so from the bottom, from a swing low to the most recent high. And let me just change the fib that I'm using here. Here we go. Okay, so we got a level down there. It's kind of far. Let's see what else we got. This level, nothing really landed. Let's try this one here. Then we go to the high. Again, nothing really landed. What we want to look for is levels that are overlapping right with these levels that I already have set up on the chart. Okay, so look at that one. We got this light blue 5710 level that coincides, and this 5620 level, right? That gives a space in case it keeps coming down. All right, so I'm going to remove some of these lines just to clean up the chart. And then we'll move on. All right, so that's another level. And I'm going to use this level here to see if we can't find an extension. Okay, and so we got, from that, we had this 5632 level pop up, TP1 there, okay? Let me see also this one here. All right, guys, so we got all these levels coming in together, right? And we cleaned up the chart just a little bit by deleting all the other lines, okay? So what we want to do is we want to get the range. What I need to do is change these colors because this is a little dark for me, all right? Right, but this, there we go. Okay, so this is 5616 is the low of the range, and the high of the range is 57 and 10 cents. All right. So I want to just make a note of this. So I'm going to take my texting tool, okay, and I'm just going to type that in. So I want to put fib cluster, okay, and then support levels is going to be 56 and 16 cents to 57 and 10 cents. All right, and so that's this zone here, okay. Now I'm also going to take a box and box the zone, just so that it helps me be able to better visualize what's going on. All right. So let's reset this chart real quick. All right. So now we have this zone here with all these levels, these extensions, these retracements. All right. That made this zone here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and delete these so that my chart looks as smooth as possible. Okay. All right. Beautiful. And now we can find out what our upside target might be. We're going to get a retracement and we're going to put it on, right, from the most recent high all the way down to there. Of course, I have to reset my fib so you guys can see the levels pop up here, populate, and they'll make it just a little bit easier for you guys to follow along, okay? So I'm going to go in and basically I'm just going to leave on one resistance level here so I know what's happening, and then my TP's up top, okay? Alrighty. This red line here that I did not put in that's going across, that's the POC, or the point of control. That's where a lot of decisions are being made. Okay. So I got my fib cluster zone. I got the support levels from 56.16 to 57.10. I got my take profit up here. Target 1, 65. Target 2, 68. Target 3, 70. And there might be some resistance over here around 61.59. This is my setup, okay? Now, you may be wondering, well, how do you enter this position? That's a great question. I enter by what's called using a trigger, okay? So now, I'm gonna go down to a lower time frame, the 15-minute chart, okay? Reset my chart view so you can see what happened in the zone, and then show you and explain my trigger. Okay. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are wondering, you know, where I learned this stuff from, I learned about Fibonacci tools in a book called Fibonacci Trading by Caroline Borodin, or Caroline Borodin. I'm gonna put a link to the book in the description below this video. It's a very, very technical book, very great, easy read. You know, she lays out a bunch of examples of how to do exactly what I'm doing right now, all right? I didn't make this up. I just learned it. Okay, so what happens is the price falls into the zone, and then if the zone is a nice strong one, it's gonna hold this level, okay? So this is what happened. The zone held, price bounced. Doesn't mean that the zone is going to continue to hold, but I do believe that it will, considering a few things. Number one, if you look over here, you see that post-market IBIT is already up to $60. So it basically jumped 2 hours after the markets closed. But besides that, again, this is a Bitcoin ETF, and Bitcoin is on a run right now. So that's how I had this trading idea formulated, and then I had to find the setup to basically allow me to take a position. Okay, so anyways, right now I'm on the 15-minute time frame chart. This let me just close that off. All right, so this orange line here is the 8 EMA, exponential moving average, and this blue line here is the 34 EMA, the 34 exponential moving average. Okay, and so there's two types of triggers. One is a fast trigger, right? let's see, fast trigger, and one is a slow trigger. Okay, fast trigger, slow trigger. We're going to go over the fast trigger first. Fast trigger takes place on a 15-minute chart using 8 and 34 EMA crossover with higher high plus higher low. Higher high plus higher low. Okay? That's it. So what do we have here? Well, I'll show you. This was a local high, right? Alrighty, that tool didn't want to rock with me. Here we go. Okay, so that was one high level, and this was another one. The price broke over both of these levels, so it made a higher high. Okay, and then it has to make a higher low. Okay, this right here, it's a little big, the circle. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. What is going on with these circles? Lord have mercy. Whatever. All right, this is lower low. Let me put an arrow. Maybe it'll make it easier. There it is. Cool. I like these arrows. Higher high. Higher high. Okay? Higher high, higher high. This is a higher low. And that's a higher low. So we got what we needed. Higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low. Okay? Now what we need after that is what we need is the EMA crossover. So how do we get that EMA crossover? Well, it looks just like this. The orange line crossing over the blue line. That's my fast trigger. Okay. Slow trigger. Slow trigger is going to take place on a 30-minute chart. All right? Same exact concept. Using 8 and 34, you may crossover with higher highs, higher lows. Okay? You see on the 30-minute chart, the 8 did not cross over the 34 yet. So therefore, there was no trigger. If you take the 15-minute trigger, the fast trigger, you'll have more fake outs and you will take on more losses. However, if you use the slow trigger, although you can be more accurate and have more winners, you will also get in later. So your entry will be a little bit higher, and you know, that's just going to mean that you pay a little bit of a higher premium. So this is it, guys. This is the setup. Let me know if you guys have any questions below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.